You're listening to The Switch. I'm your host, Stephanie Shaw. Hey, welcome to The Switch. I'm Stephanie Shaw. I'm a multi-certified holistic nutrition coach who, after finding no success with the 18 doctors and 2 world-renowned healthcare facilities I visited, decided I needed to make a switch and take my health into my own hands. Now I'm obsessed with you getting hormonally balanced and emotionally aligned. This podcast is about education, empowerment, and simple no-cost strategies you can implement right now. I'm so excited to be here with you to talk about all things health, beauty, clean living, and mindset. Ready to take your mind and body to the next level? It's time to make the switch. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Switch. Today I have with me Emily Golden. Emily is PCC Executive and Career Coach certified. She's an author, speaker, and a trainer. And what I like most so far is Emily has the perfect last name. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her book and everything that she's doing, but she ties the last name Golden in great with that. Emily, thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie. I'm thrilled to be with you today.
Of course. Let's dive right in. Why does someone need a career coach or an executive coach?
Great question. So, look, no one needs a coach and everyone deserves a coach. So having a coach is like having a secret weapon in your pocket, a good kind, that helps you to get through life with ease, with more ease, more grace, and just have a better experience. So I play in 2 realms as a coach. I'm both a career coach and executive coach. And sometimes I work with executives on a career search, but I'm always working with professionals. Those are my people. I came out of the corporate world. I spent 17 years in corporate HR, climbing the ladder, and I really relate to my clients who are in the corporate world and in the business world. You will know that you are ready to work with a coach if on paper, your life looks great, looks like everything you've ever wanted, yet inside you feel a sense of dissatisfaction or a sense that it could be better, but you don't know how. You don't know what it is. You may even feel a little ashamed to admit that you are feeling not fully satisfied. So that's one sign that it may be worth looking into coaching. Another is you are truly looking to make a career pivot, but you don't know what you want, right? And so you're looking for some support around getting clarity. Where do I want to go? And a coach like me can help you to identify not just what you want, but what are the values of the that you bring, and what are the values of the type of organization that you want to be joining, the type of work that you want to be doing. I would also say that another indication that it's a time to connect with a coach is you continue to hit the same roadblocks or the same barriers over and over. You are interviewing for jobs and you're continuing to come up as the second to last person, or like you're the front runner, but you don't get the job. Or you notice that you keep moving teams or moving jobs, and everyone else is the problem. They don't get it, or it's the boss isn't quite getting you. If you're consistently coming up with these themes and it's other people, let's talk, because the one thing in common is you. And I say that kind of, I don't mean to be pointing the finger, but at you. But one of the things that's so powerful about coaching is we learn to take responsibility for ourselves in an empowering way. And it's only from that place that we can truly create lasting shifts and find the satisfaction that we are truly looking for in life.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I've never heard, you had a couple of key phrases in there, and I never heard to make that relationship and that connection between coaching, because some people see it as a luxury or something that maybe they don't even need. But you made it seem more real, and you made it seem more tangible, and something that perhaps all of us could use at some point in time. When you're coaching folks, you go beyond the actual conversation. So you help them you help them with their career search. And part of that is telling them that they need to network and letting them understand and recognize why stepping into their passion is so important. How does that work?
So first off, the old saying that it's who you know is true. And I don't mean if you don't know a lot of people, you're out of luck. I mean, work your network. Yeah. Be in conversation with people. Everyone you know is an opportunity for you to be connecting and creating relationships to support you in your job search. Yeah. So, and I mean, that goes from like the person on the sidelines at your kid's soccer game to potentially the person that's online at the grocery store with you, to anyone and everyone in between. So building relationships is so, so, so important. And it's the key. Like, we could hide behind our computers all day long and apply to a million jobs. And I talk to people often. They're like, what am I doing wrong? I'm applying. And the stats are telling, right? Yeah. A very small percentage of applications online cold applications actually result in an interview, an in-person interview, a very small percentage. And so what does, it's the people who know people who know people. Right. And you can create that, right? The piece about stepping into your passion and knowing your passion. So this is one that for those of us in the line of work that I'm in, and coaching and career coaching in general, really go back and forth on. In some ways, I am a stand for finding passion. I am also not a believer that there is one thing that is your passion and you must find it and uncover it, that it's hidden away in some treasure trove, some deep in the sea, and we must uncover it. Like, I don't actually believe that. I believe that there are likely many things that you can be passionate about. Mm. And in the process of coaching, we uncover your values. We uncover your strengths, your zone of genius. Mm-hmm. And from there, we piece together what kind of work you can be passionate about. And honestly, Stephanie, sometimes people realize they're doing the work they're already passionate about. Wow. They've just lost touch with that. They've lost connection with themselves outside of work. Yeah. And when they start filling their bucket outside of work, they start connecting to their creative juices, or maybe just giving to themselves in a way they haven't. All of a sudden, there's passion again at work. Yeah. So I really get concerned when people are like, I don't have a passion, help me find it, right? Like, I love to say, like, love the work you do, right? Do the work you love and love the work you do. Yeah. So those are my thoughts on the topic of passion right now.
That's powerful to own where you are and not always be searching for something else, which a lot of people do. They assume that the grass is always greener, and you may already be on the plot of land that you're supposed to be on.
Right. Brene Brown said in one of her interviews, I don't remember who it was, but the person she was interviewing said, if you look at your neighbor's grass, the view is actually greener because of the angle that the grass is growing.
Yeah, that is so true. I'm looking out the window now and I'm seeing the same exact thing.
Right. So there is no there. Mm-hmm. I have watched many people, and in fact, this is part of what drove me to my career as a coach. I watched many, many people reach for success identified as a certain dollar amount. I will make X amount and that will be success.
Right.
And they would reach it. And then they would say, I want more.
Yeah.
And not from like greed, but that scratched my itch for only so long.
Yeah.
And I thought, is there really a there? Like, is there a place? Is there a there?
Yeah. Oh.
And the answer to that, I say, is I always want to be striving. I always want to be growing and, striving for growth and excellence. And I encourage my clients to do the same. And my clients are high performers. One of the things that they struggle with most is learning how to be present.
That's a huge struggle for a lot of folks. How do you get them there? How do you get them to operate in the presence?
Yeah, you heard me take a deep breath, right?
Yeah.
Breath. So breathing is so important. And a lot of times we'll practice together being present in the moment in our coaching relationship. And it can be some of the most uncomfortable work that's ever done.
Yeah.
But it's really about practicing being in the moment, in the here and now. Gratitude is a beautiful way to practice. It's overplayed. We hear it. I'm not talking about gratitude to check the box.
Right.
I'm talking about like really connecting with what there is to be grateful for. There is always something.
You're right. So I have clients do like a gratitude journal, and a lot of times I don't have time for that. I'm like, write one word. And then you'll find that if you can write one word, then by like day 3, you're like, okay, I'll add another. And then by day 7, you're like, oh, I'll add another. So you get this progression of growth, and then you recognize that there are so many things to be grateful for. That's huge. And then you may not automatically put the two together, like, oh, she's a career and executive coach and you need to be grateful. But it's true. It all comes together.
Yeah. And then I'll say the third thing I'd point to, there's breath, there's gratitude, in terms of being present. The third thing I'll say, and this is something that I've worked on myself, is really cultivating a relationship with spirit or faith, or whether it's a religious practice or having nothing to do with religion, just a belief in something outside of you. My clients are control enthusiasts. They like to control and manage life.
Right.
But we learned early on that that's how you got what you wanted, right? Control the, life out of something.
Right.
And that only gets you so far. There's only so much control you can truly have.
Yeah.
So when you can really connect to, I am not in this alone, right? There's me, there's others in the world that are in my court and that, are on my team. And then there's the divine or spirit or something. It's really so much easier to breathe. And it allows us to take our hands off the wheel a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Losing that control when you're a person in power is often difficult, but you're right. It needs to happen. You talk about ontological approach, and that allows people to shift beliefs and habits and take risks. If someone listening right now needed a shift in beliefs or habits, or were afraid to take the big risks, but they didn't have access to a coach, what would you advise them to do?
Yeah. So it's actually pronounced ontological. It's an ontological approach. It's a very fancy word. And really what it means is being. It's the relationship with it's being, and it's relationship with self. So if someone wants to make a shift quickly, really, or wants to get started doing this work, start examining the relationship you have with yourself. How do you talk to yourself? How do you hold yourself? If we had a camera on you and we were watching you, in different situations, what would we see? What's the truth about what's really going on over there?
Right.
What are you working so hard for? I am not shy about talking about my own journey. My mom had me on the couch at 9. I had learning differences, and she was very concerned about self-esteem. You know, she was concerned her daughter's self-esteem was going to be impacted by these learning differences. And therapy was amazing, and I got so much out of it. And I really attribute a lot of who I am to those early days. But as a coach, in my coach training, I learned about my relationship with myself. And unfortunately, I had built a relationship with myself where I truly believed on some level I needed to be fixed or I was in some way broken. And that sounds really dramatic, but I would actually challenge anyone that's listening to take a look within themselves, because the chances are high that you relate to yourself that way as well, in some form or fashion, whether it's in your relationship with your body and food, maybe. I can't lose weight, or, you know, I suck at this, or whatever. There's some way that you're relating to yourself as broken. If just you could find the answer, right? As if you need to be fixed. So, as coach, I hold my clients as whole and complete. I get they want more, they want different, they want better.
Right. Wow, Emily.
But they're not broken.
Yeah, that's powerful. Give us some advice on how we can live more energized lives.
I'm sorry, repeat that. There was a cutout.
Oh, no problem. So I like that you say your clients emerge more energized or re-energized. Give us some advice on how we can all live more energized lives.
Ooh. Well, it's likely going to be no surprise to you that I have an endless amount of energy, or I've been told at least I have an endless amount of energy. And it's not really true. I don't wake up with this amount of energy immediately, but I am quite energetic.
Okay.
So energy is a very, very important part of the work. It is partly contagious. I will say that. I have heard. My mom is like this too. So thank you for that gift, Mom. When we are in alignment with ourselves and that relationship with ourselves, and we are treating ourselves. So this is the new golden rule. Listen up and listen carefully.
Right.
The new golden rule is to treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. Treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. And when you can truly say, most of the time, you are being kind to yourself, you are having compassion for yourself, you are forgiving yourself, you are giving yourself the space that you need and asking for what you need, there is more energy. You just naturally are more energized.
Right.
Life is full of energy givers and energy drainers. People, places, habits, right? So I'm working with my clients all the time on cleaning that stuff up, the energy drainers.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that out there. Yeah. So you have a book, and that's what I mentioned earlier, that you had the perfect last name, because your book is called The New Golden Rule, and you just spoke about it a little bit. But tell us, go a little deeper, get us intrigued about what's going on in the book.
I have 2 children, and they are my finest works of art. Well, they were until the book came along, and my babies are still top of the list. But my book is a close third. The book is really 3 parts woven in together. One is my story, which is not super interesting to me because it's mine, but many people have told me, oh my gosh, wow, that happened and that happened and that happened, right? So there's been some things a few things. So it's about that. It's about the adversity. It's about overcoming it. And it's about how I've used the new golden rule to emerge. It's also, the second part is my coaching process and how emotional intelligence ties into the work that I do with my clients. Mm-hmm. And then the third part is really bringing it to life. So it's client vignettes, and I weave those in throughout. So it's not just here's what the process looks like, but it's here are examples of how that process looks in action. The new golden rule, again, it's all about how are we treating ourselves. It's being kind to ourselves, but it's also understanding ourselves in new and profound ways. So generating self-awareness. Mm-hmm. I say that there are two parts of us. There's our golden self, which is our highest and best self. It's that authentic self. It's that it's love. It's that you that always was, right? And then there's that survival self, that survival instinct or mechanism that you built up early on to protect yourself, and it serves a purpose, and it's not all bad. Right. And often we automatically operate from that place. And my books, the theory of my work and what I've seen in practice in my life and in my clients' life is that when we can learn to turn the volume up on that golden part of us, our lives expand exponentially. Mm. So the book talked about how to do that. I wanted to create a body. I wanted to put all the work I've done into a succinct place where people who aren't interested in or able to work one-on-one with me could get the goodness of this work and really start to implement it and put it into practice.
Right. On the cover, you have the Professional Perfectionist Guide to Greater Emotional Intelligence. How do we know if we are a professional perfectionist, which I think if we are, all of us who are know that. But, just in case you don't know, how would we know that, and how can we get ourselves out of what may be perceived as a struggle?
So I would challenge your thinking on that. I've come across many people who do not relate to themselves as a perfectionist because their house isn't always clean and things aren't always in order. And they have this idea that that's what a perfectionist is. Mm. What I say a perfectionist is someone who's trying to manage and control the experience that other people have of them so that they can feel better about how that other person is judging them, right? Mm-hmm. So I want you to think positively of me. So I am going to say certain things to you or act a certain way towards you so that I know that you like me. And if you like me, then I can like me. Or if you accept me, then maybe I can accept me. So a professional perfectionist is someone who's working very hard to control the experience that other people are having of him or her. Mm-hmm. And in truth, I believe that we all have this to some extent. We are culturally wired to want other people to like us. Yeah. And even people who are like, I don't care. No, you do.
Yeah.
You do to an extent. Right. Some of us more than others. Some of us have been so rewarded for people liking us that we just keep feeding off of it. And that's why I collapse often perfectionists and people pleasers, because my people, many of the people I work with are also often find themselves, wanting to please the people, wanting to please the other people. And they have a hard time knowing when it's something that they want or it's something that other people want them to do or say. So what do you do about it? The first step, like anything, is recognizing, oh, this is happening. I'm trying to control what other people are thinking. And if you can't see it directly, look at your life. Are you trying to control other aspects of life? Because if you're trying to control other aspects of life, how the kids are behaving, to the extreme, schedules, making yourself, crazy about your workout routine. These are all kind of symptoms, if you will. likely there's a perfectionist thread running through it. And what I have found is that beneath it is is like a rejection of self or a dislike of self. And so we get to work on how to really shift those beliefs. I'm less interested in how come you are that way and more interested in the impact it's having on your life and what the future state is that we're living into and creating.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I like the explanation as well, because you're right. People assume that perfectionist is the Marie Kondo view of perfectionism with your socks folded correctly. But trying to control is a form of trying to be a perfectionist. So I'd like for you to leave the audience with one piece of advice, something that they can walk away from this podcast with that is no cost to them, but they can easily implement.
So it has to be the new golden rule, to treat yourself the way that you want other people to treat you. And that looks like a few different things. First off, asking for help. Most of my clients come to me like ashamed to ask for help or having these limiting beliefs around asking for help. As humans, we are wired. We're actually pack animals, so we're wired to rely on one another. So ask for help. It's a gift to you and to others.
Right.
Secondly, I would say, and we kind of touched on this, but the gratitude thing, I can't impress upon people enough to take stock in what's good and what's right.
Yes.
Loving yourself, your body, like if you have legs that walk and arms that move, like that's a gift, and be grateful for it.
Right. Yeah. Some people often associate gratitude with something big. I have a big house, a nice car, a nice job, but you're right. Can you walk? Can you move? Are you breathing? Those are all forms of gratitude, things that you can be grateful for.
I say to my clients, if you can't find anything else, how about you have electricity?
Yeah.
What a gift that is.
That is a huge gift.
Yeah. So, so I would say that. And then the third thing, and I talk about this in my book, is we often don't know who we are at the highest, right? We relate to ourselves as all of that survival stuff. And so I say, ask people who know you, what shows up when you come into a room? What do you bring to a room? Write down what they say. Read it every day. Obviously, I'm assuming that what they're going to say is positive.
Right.
And if you get negative feedback, you can put that to the side, right? But we all have a being, an essence about us, this golden part of us. Remember that every single day. It goes with you no matter what.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Tell us, what was your switch? What was the one thing internally or externally that you can attribute to the woman that you are today?
So there have been a lot, and I said it, and my book goes into this, but the one thing that was really most instrumental in having me shift and switch was being diagnosed with Tourette syndrome at the age of 5. And up to that point, she was by all estimations my, ironically, perfect child. No one is perfect. And this was God's way of letting me know that the gifts of imperfection are real. And it is because of my daughter, and then subsequently my son was diagnosed as well, but it is because of the two of them that I have been able to create my life to be perfectly imperfect, and I love it.
Wow. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow. Emily, I've so enjoyed our time together today. This has been wonderful. I want,
Stephanie.
yeah, I'm going to make sure that the link to your book and all of your other information is below for everyone. Everyone, again, thank you so much for joining us, and here's to your health. I am so excited for you because you just finished another episode of The Switch, which means you are the fierce person I already knew you were. If you're ready to join an exclusive group of other fierce high performers like you, a group where you can bounce ideas off one another and ask questions, be sure to join our exclusive Facebook community. You can find the link below.